Hello and welcome to the Hothouze podcast. This is Change Their Mind. My name is Killian Quigley Burns. My guest today is Ryan Johnston. Welcome.
Thank you for having me, Killian.
Now, Ryan, for this episode of Change Their Mind, the other day you mentioned that you don't like the Beatles.
Yes, Killian. I know I'm going to get some backlash for that, but I don't like the Beatles.
Now, Ryan, we're friends, right?
We are, I think.
At the moment.
Mm-hmm.
Let's hope it stays that way by the end. Specifically, why, if you were to come up with something on the top of your head as to why you don't like the Beatles, just so I can figure out how I'm going to convince you here.
I think they're really overrated.
Overrated?
Overrated. Extremely overrated.
Can you give any examples of songs?
No. I just think, there's no point denying that they've definitely shaped the music genre of today. But I think songs like Imagine is just...
That's specifically John Lennon now.
That is.
Any specific Beatles group songs, maybe?
Maybe I'm just uneducated, but I just don't like the Beatles.
Well, if that's what it takes for me to convince you, then it's okay. And now, I do remember you mentioning specifically one Beatle, and I couldn't help but cry about it when I got home.
Okay.
Ringo is the sweetest of the members. He is the bread of the pizza. Do you agree?
No. I like Ringo. I think you took that whenever I said that out of context. Ringo is one of my favourite. Old clips of him playing with Paul McCartney's adopted daughter really warmed my heart. Mm-hmm. But I think you took that one out of context. I do actually quite like Ringo.
Oh, okay.
Compared to some of the others.
Have you seen the Get Back movie?
I haven't.
Or more of a documentary, actually. There is a scene in it, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but as we know, the Beatles tended to kind of break up around like 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. And Ringo, and this is why I called him the bread of the pizza, while everyone else was fighting, he was just sitting at his drum set. Mm-hmm. And he started tearing up. Mm. What a beautiful man. Uh-huh. Shedding emotion. Mm-hmm. How could you not? Well, you said you liked that.
I do, yes.
Did that change your mind, maybe?
No. Not at all.
So who do you think is the best Beatle?
George.
I agree. Tink.
We do agree on that.
We do agree on that. But if I was to say, like, is there any specific one that you really dislike?
I hope this doesn't ruin our friendship, but Paul McCartney.
Okay, and even Paul McCartney. Mm-hmm. How come you don't like him?
I think he's very pretentious.
Okay.
I think he seems to always think he's the face of the Beatles.
Okay.
Even though it's clearly John Lennon, he's the most famous among them all. I believe, but just there's something about Paul I just don't like. So
why hate Paul but not John?
John's definitely the most controversial out of them all. There's no point denying that. Mm-hmm. But I don't know, just something about Paul. There's something about him.
I can kind of agree with that.
Yeah.
I think you're trying to change my mind here for a second.
Slightly. Mm-hmm.
My next point here is, do you enjoy happiness?
Yeah.
And how come you don't specifically like the Beatles then?
Because?
You don't think they're the embodiment of pure joy?
No.
Here Comes the Sun.
Overrated. It's overused nowadays, I think.
Did you know that was written by George Harrison?
I didn't know, actually. And it hurts to hear that, but...
I'm pretty sure that's right. I hope that's right.
I hope that's right. But yeah. Doesn't change my thought.
Blackbird, not written by George Harrison. Written by Paul McCartney. Don't like Blackbird?
I don't like it.
What about the simplicity of the song? Like, it's...
I think that's the issue.
Think about the little birds in the background. Do you like birds?
I love birds, of course. I think it could just be an issue that they're not my type of genre. I just have a big issue with them.
Birds aren't your type of genre?
No, the Beatles. I love birds.
Birds, but you don't like Blackbird. Were you traumatized when you were younger about the Beatles?
Possibly. Move on.
I think we're starting to get somewhere. I think if you truly sat down and listened to their body of work, especially the Get Back album,
yes,
I will say the original albums kind of suck. Like
So
specifically like early 50s or like 50s and then kind of going into 60s.
Of course.
They're probably even the most popular
Yeah.
kind of moments. There was the statement by John Lennon where he thought they were bigger than Jesus.
I do remember that.
And do you think that was kind of funny almost, or do you think it was?
As a person who is on the fence about both subjects, it was controversial to say at the time. You know, Christianity was a massive thing. So saying something like that is completely outrageous.
And if you had to choose a Beatles song, like what would you say is the best?
Octopus's Garden.
A Ringo Starr song.
Of course.
So what is it about Octopus's Garden and you don't like Blackbird?
To me, Octopus's Garden is just a little yoinky song that...
Yoinky song?
Yeah, it just tickles my little brain. And I like the sound. I like the sound of it. It's the only one that I'll actually possibly sit down and listen to.
Octopus's Garden. The kind of... The joke song almost you like more. So are you saying the Beatles are more of a joke?
I think you're putting words in my mouth to try and make me seem like more of a bad guy in this situation.
I think you said Octopus's Garden was their best song.
I didn't say that. I just said it's my favourite song.
Okay. Do you know much about their albums?
No. Again, it could just be a possibility that I'm uneducated about the Beatles, and that is the issue. But I'll die on this hill.
So are you saying there's probably no angle for me to actually get you to convince about these people?
I highly doubt it.
Maybe we'll go into like their single albums then. Okay, we're talking about Imagine and how much that did for war and for peace.
True.
Especially.
True.
Like, do you not think that's a good thing?
Yeah, that's obviously, yeah.
Even if you dislike the song?
I think if any sort of something as simple as a song can make a movement like that, it's great. But it doesn't mean I have to like the song.
Ooh, okay. Do you like Marvin Gaye?
Of course.
Okay, that we can agree on.
We can agree
here.
on that, yes.
But in terms of Beatles, I'm going to say the amount of pure joy that they bring, really, without looking into specific band members, I think it could really be good if you try it out.
Maybe I will. Maybe I won't.
No, we can't play for copyright reasons. We can't even sing. But if I could, I'd be singing it right now.
And I'd probably love your version more than theirs.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. The next Hothouze production is going to be a cover by the Beatles. Yeah, if I'm going to try and convince you on something, it's going to be Blackbird.
I'll give it a listen and get back to you on that.
Get back?
Because it's a good one. It's a good one. But I'll get back to you on
Beatles.
that. Of course. I'll get back to you on that one. Maybe you have successfully changed my mind, but at the moment,
No, I have not.
you have not changed my mind.
Well, it's a great pilot episode. Failing to change Ryan Johnston's mind, I did my best, but clearly he's more stronger-willed. Guys, thank you very much for watching. This has been Change Their Mind on the Hothouze podcast. My name is Colin Burns. This is Ryan Johnston. Thank you very much.